Okay, now back down at sea level. Now that's a beautiful thing to wake up to. An entire island just covered in bird shit. Highly nitrogenous bird shit. Which, before that German guy came up with the way to synthesize nitrogen, guano was one of the most potent sources of nitrogen for humanity's stupid wars it was constantly waging against itself, for gunpowder, as well as nitrogen fertilizer. Up there we got our destination. Seems to be quite a few cactus up there. You can see them from the ridge, and we're going to go check it out, see what's going on. Now, I don't know if you could see, but up on that ridge, you got some rather tall columnar cactus. And that would be a Eulichnia. I believe it's like Kikaensis. And if there's Eulichnia growing up there in the fog deserts, there's probably quite a few other things as well. Rock here seems to be intrusive igneous. Again, you got that large grain size. Possibly gabbro. There's possibly some more felsic intrusives too. This is what I think is the gabbro though. Look at that. Very large grain size. And that's not volcanic. That cooled rather slowly deep in the Earth's crust, and it was probably slapped onto the edge of this continent from the west. Because, a couple miles that way, the Nazca Plate starts, which is coming towards us at a rate of, again, about 65 to 75 millimeters per year, which is pretty fast for a tectonic plate. And where's some nice gabbro? Look at it. I can't get enough of the gabbro. It looks just like black granite. Except the mineral composition, of course, is a little bit more mafic. It's got a little bit more magnesium and iron, and a little bit less silica. Oh, don't you love gabbro? It's just an orgy of beautiful intrusive igneous rocks, large grain-sized intrusive igneous rocks. I mean, all the intrusives have large grain size, but that was kind of redundant. Anyway, so we were coming up on the other side last night. And we seen some guys fucking with the van from afar. Went to go check it out. We thought we were getting robbed. And then it turned out they were just cops who thought that we were doing some sketchy shit, And it turned out to be fine. But either way, we had to cancel the trip last night. So now we're coming back, going on the other side. Now, that whole ridge last night was bathed in fog. You can still see the fog up there. Okay. This desert is not that hot, especially when you're used to the Mojave Desert. I mean, it's dry, and make no mistake, it gets hot and it's dry, but you're not going to see temperatures of 100 degrees Fahrenheit out here, okay? It's mostly just extremely dry. So, again, everything here has to be adapted to that lack of rain, but the thing you get here that you don't get in the Mojave Desert is that intense fog. Almost all the precipitation, all the moisture, comes in the form of fog. You get sporadic rains occasionally, as you can see. I mean, some had to carve this wash, but most of it comes in the form of fog, and the rain is rare, and it could be hit or miss. And again, still, even when it comes, it's very little. We're talking millimeters. So anyway, we're gonna see what's going on. Hopefully, we'll make our way up there without breaking our asses or getting robbed. And we'll check it out. We'll get back to you in a minute. There's a nice Eulichnia stump, if you could call it that. Nice cactus wood. They're up there, washed down from above. Okay, this one's pretty interesting. When I first saw this, I couldn't figure out what the shit it was. Thought it might be in Zygophalaceae, the creosote family, just by looking at those flowers. But it's not. It's in a Malpighiaceae, which is a family that I'm not very familiar with, because I don't see too many of them in California. This is Dynamandra. You can see it's having no trouble at all. I mean, it's flowering in a bone dry wash, composed of very phaneritic rocks. That is coarse grained. Phaneritic just means coarse grained, large grained, i.e. intrusive igneous. Whereas aphanitic applies mostly to volcanics. This is and volcanics have a small grain size. Phaneritic means large grain. There's that Dynamandra. We've seen a bunch of them up the wash. It's just a smattering, just a light smattering of stuff coming up. You could see, what's this, a heliotropium or a verbena of some kind? Oh, look, it's a Nolana. It's a succulent Nolana in the Nightshade family, in the tomato family. This is a big genus. There's quite a few in this, quite a few species in this genus. You can see all the flowers just starting to open up, you know, warming up with the sun and starting to open. You know, a lot of this stuff was closed last night when we came through. Look at it. Just look at the island of shit. That's going to be on Disney Plus. They're having a new show called Shit Island. So it's a family-friendly viewership. Do you like seeing new things and not knowing what the shit they are? Doesn't it just, it kind of gets you. It kind of gets you going. Here's one I had no idea of until a few days ago. This is a Malesherbia in a Malesherbiaceae. Little fuzzy bastard. This is a white variant. You know, this is what we were seeing. We saw this all last night, but of course the flowers weren't open. And now they're getting some warmth, getting some sunlight, and they're opening. They're coming open. You can just see. Look, they're so fuzzy. Probably quite irritating. Eat a mouthful of that. Pretty flower, though. Those stamens just occur in a ring. Looks like around the corolla. Quite a few petals on this bastard. What's the calyx look like? Flip this guy up. Jesus Christ. Am I going to get a rash? Did you get a bad rash? Will it come on you like a bad rash? Anyway. How about that? Oh, yeah, look at that. Just a couple 100,000 years worth of accumulated debris flows. Just unconsolidated alluvial deposits. Very unstable. As a mass goes, quite unstable. You know? Just shit moving downhill with the aid of water and then stacking up over the years. As opposed to one solid contiguous body of plutonic rock. Which, again, is what most of this shit is. All just intrusive igneous. Remember that word phaneritic? Oh, look at a nice heliotropium down there. Boraginaceae. Ah, look at this beautiful bastard. It's an aster. Asteraceae. Don't you like it when I say that? Asteraceae. But look at this one. This one looks like a... When the flowers aren't open, it almost looks like a fucking clover. And then get up close, you can see it's got those bilabiate corollas. Possibly a polyacris. I don't know, though. It's got a globose that is a globe-shaped capitula, a pseudanthium, and bicolored styles, too. Those little rads poking out. That is a weird one. Jesus. And then, of course, just the foliage just laden with trichomes, with little hairs. Look, there's some country rock. There's some parent material. And of course, all the shit in this wash is just that stuff slowly weathering and breaking off and washing down this little arroyo and what the shit. You know, intermittently with the sporadic rains. Anyway, look at this beautiful cistanth. Another cistanthe. How many cistanthe can you take? Have you had enough? There's going to be more. Deal with it. Look at this. You got a nice central rosette. Montiaceae, same family as bitterroot, so it's kind of succulent. But, God, there's so many different kinds of cistanth. And they're all banging each other. They're very promiscuous, so you get all kinds of hybrids probably, and they just, whew. Celsioides, I believe, is a rather common species. No idea what this one is, though. Anyway, cistanth, Montiaceae. And here's this salty bastard. No idea what this is, too. Probably a Solanaceae. Couldn't really catch a flower on it. The foliage is pretty distinct and notable, though. You can see still got the calyx on there. Still got those dried calyxes. It was probably long done flowering. Ooh, there's a calyx that's still going off. But again, five united sepals. We found a couple dried flowers too. They had 5 united petals. So I guess Solanaceae, who knows, you know? Very odd though. Look, it's so squishy. It's squishy. Ugh. Ugh, it doesn't really smell like anything. But it's a woody perennial. It's a woody shrub. Oh, look at that boulder perched ever so precariously. You know, washed down in the torrent and just hanging out right there till another torrent comes. Just hang out there for a couple thousand years. Don't worry, we'll get back to you. All right, look at this. This is pretty fantastic. This is what you would call fan-fucking-tastic. This is a species of Calandrinia. Again, Montiaceae, the bitterroot family. Look how waxy those leaves are. So much so that when I touch it, when my greasy Dago fingers touch it, it just kind of washes that, I don't know what you call that. Kind of, I'm thinking of a word. I've seen it on Dudley's before too. It's a wax. It's like a powdery wax that helps reflect the ultraviolet. So sorry, I just kind of took off your sunscreen there, buddy. Anyway, Calandrinia. You can see there's actually a little caterpillar going to town on it right there. And there's the flowers. You know, and you'll see some of these as garden specimens. The Calandrinias. You can see these, the spent flowers are pendant. So they flower from the bottom up. You know, the bottom ones flower first. Just fucking, it's wild. It's got a very nice texture. Oh! Only thing flowering here. Well, not the only thing, but the most conspicuous thing flowering right here. Just wonder what pollinates it. Hey, there we go. Heliotropium boraginaceae. Except this one is, this one's kind of succulent. Sharing the convergent trait of succulence that so many plants have out here. Again, not homologous, not a result of descent from a common ancestor, just kind of evolved separately as a response, is an evolutionary response to similar conditions. Heliotropium, of course, is in the borage family. Same family as our native California yerba santa, Facilian with this shit. Almost got a helicoid cyme. A scorpioid cyme in there. Some people get real nitpicky about what you call it. I don't really give a shit. They both work. Scorpioid, helicoid, whatever the shit. I mean, they're a little bit different, but... And this is just a massive bush. A massive succulent bush. So fine-tunedly adapted to the harsh conditions and the substrate upon which it grows. Which, by the way, it looks like we're on a schist now. Got kind of a schist thing going on. It looks a little bit metamorphosed. That rock looks a little bit cooked. Little tomato. It's not in the same subgenus as tomatoes, actually. It's Solanum, same genus, but I believe most of the tomatoes we've seen have yellow flowers. Wonderful little nightshade, though, with tiny-ass flowers. Tiny flowers. Because remember, you grow in a desert, you grow in an area where it never rains. You get a big flower, you're going to lose a lot of moisture through that flower. So it doesn't benefit you to have large flowers. You could say it behooves you to have tiny-ass flowers. What's going on with that foliage? We got any trichomes or glands? Oh, yeah, you got a little bit. Oh, look, it's a flower on that pearly bastard. You see that? Yeah, I'm going to go with Solanaceae. Certainly does look very solanaceous. The Nightshade family. Look at those tiny hairs. Even they got hairs on the fucking corolla too. That green part, of course, that's the calyx. Those are the sepals. And then the yellow, the 5 fused petals, that's the corolla. God damn, the foliage is just so weird. They're not even leaves. They're just like little swollen beads. Like a pearl necklace. And you can see the anthers in there too. Nice. All right, that's enough with the handlands. Oh, you like schist? Oh, you like schist, huh? Ooh. All right, so here we got another very odd member of the Nightshade family. I can tell that just by looking at the flowers. You can see you got the sepals right there. Typical elongated flower. You got the sepals right there, 5 united petals, 5 sepals, and then but look at these leaves up here. They're curved in, they're enrolled, but then it seems like they've accumulated. I don't know if that's salt or what. It's not dewdrops, though it does look like it. Just another weird plant of the coastal deserts here in northern Chile. And then over here, this one's really weird. This species grows in California too, but it looks a lot different here. It's highly disjunct. Obviously, there was a dispersal event at some point in time in the last couple million years. This does look slightly different. The leaves look very different from our California version of it. This is Peridili emorii. It just looks like a kind of non-distinct chamomile-ish looking member of the daisy family, the Asteraceae. But it's notable because when you get up close and you look at those corolla lobes, remember, each capitula is composed of, in this case, probably looks like 50 to 60 individual flowers, individual florets. The lobes, it's only got 4 lobes. So each little yellow corolla only has 4 sides to it, whereas most members of the sunflower family, each little floret has 5 sides to it. Peridalia moria. Yeah, who knows? Who knows how this got down here? Probably from a bird. Probably a little seed got stuck in the plumage of a bird 1 million or 2 million years ago, quite some time ago, and then, you know, now it's here and it's all over the deserts here. Diminutive little annual. Nice little mallow, nice little member of the hibiscus and cotton family. Seems like it might be an annual. No woody tissue at that base, or it's just a perennial getting started. But I think it's an annual. Anyway, up we go. It's just a little sketchy, you know. Sketchy but doable. Oh, look, nice cristeria. I like sketchy but doable. Oh yeah, you feel so much better when you get to the country rock. When you get to some solid rock, you know. Instead of just the talus. Talus is kind of sketchy. Let him go. He just goes. He just keeps going. Look at it. Fucker, he must have hiked like 3,000 miles this year. All he does is walk and look at plants. To break his ass. I'm about to break my ass. Nice little blood stain. Isn't that nice? Goes with my patina. Is there copia poe up there? Can you see it? Ah, no schist. Fucking geology puns. Gonna be the death of us all. Pretty metamorphosed it looks like. That's why it seems to fall apart so easily, and that's why it's such a pain in the ass to walk on. Holy shit. Oh. As long as you get to the bedrock, it's a little bit easier though, but the fucking talus is just a nightmare. You just gotta make yourself horizontal, parallel to the slope, which admittedly the slope has eased up a little bit higher up the mountain. You know, once we get to the top, we still got to go over a little ridge and come down and go back up again. So we'll see. You know what? This might be more of a nice, you know, but you could still fuck around with that plenty. You could make some terrible puns with that too. Looks a little bit higher grade than a schist. There she goes. This is just like crawling up one big railroad embankment. The rocks have the same angularity and size as railroad ballast, which makes sense because they want to use a very hard rock for a railroad bed. So why not get metamorphosed granite or metamorphosed intrusives? Holy shit. It's really a pain in the ass to climb up though, you know? I mean, if you eat shit, luckily you're going to sink. You're not going to fall too far. You know, you get some grip, but it's like walking uphill in snow. Except the snow is hard and it hurts. Wouldn't you much rather be in a walled bedroom community somewhere? Huh? You know, just filling your week with long commutes to an underpaying non-union job. Yeah, you know, not me. Me neither. Me neither. I'd rather be drinking my own piss and getting, you know, slapped around with a crowbar or something. Or I'd rather be here, having a wonderful time. You know, getting filthy and ascending a cliff to look at some beautiful and rare plants. Look at that. Look, you got a beautiful view of Shit Island up here. I believe there's penguins on that island too. Catch it on Disney Plus. Shit Island. It's a new soap opera. It's like a family soap opera. You know, fun for the whole family. Got a lot of good wholesome themes to it. You know, I don't know why they picked the name Shit Island. I think it just it sounded catchy. Oh, this is pretty nice. So here we go. Here we got a Copiapoa calderiana. Just one though. We're not quite high enough yet to get to the area where there's an abundance of them. Look at that white. That's called farina. That wax. That cuticular wax. That's the word I was trying to think of. But I was having pre-geriatric senility down there with that calandrinia. Now that's not Dennis farina. That's a different kind of farina. Also known for the genus Argyra cosma, a species, a genus of fern. It's got quite an abundance of cuticular wax on the abaxial surface on the underside of the fronds. But let's not talk about that now. How old do you think this guy is? Just taking a beating. You know, see how he looks kind of weathered? That's how you can tell what's been poached and what hasn't. And this genus gets poached a lot. It's a Chilean endemic genus, Copiapoa. And you can tell when it's been poached because it looks so weathered and beaten like that. All these super nerdy cactus growers, you know, normally when they grow in a greenhouse, it doesn't look like that. It doesn't normally, sometimes it doesn't even have the farina. It looks too healthy. When you see them weather beaten like this, you know, and just relatively slow rate of growth, the areoles are relatively close together. Further down, you got some scar tissue on the bottom. That's how you can tell it's been poached. And like I said, they get poached a lot. You know, for Asia, for some of the markets over there, some of the super cactus nerds live in Asia. You also get a lot in Eastern Europe. You know, just drive a van up here, fill up a couple boxes. You know, totally denude the habitat, and then sell them for, you know, way too much money over there. And then people just put it in their living room. It just sits in the fucking living room looking cute until it dies of neglect. And what a waste, huh? Anyway, here you go. Copiapoa calderiana. Seen a lot of dead ones. I don't know why that is. It seems like maybe their range is moving up. Changing the fog or something. I don't know. Oh yeah, see, they all kind of look like shit. They all look like they're on their way out. This one's already dead. I think all these are dead. There's one live one over there. But could we be witnessing a range contraction? Nice little Nolana. New Sistant too. Haven't seen that one yet. Goddamn nightshades, man. Look at that. They're everywhere. Alright, well, maybe we've identified what's been taking these out. Oh, there's one just now. There's these little moths just came out of this. And you can see this. I mean, this is dead already. It seems like they've just been eating. You can see it's just all bored out right there. You know? Just blew on this and, you know, dozens of little tiny moths come out. So maybe it might be a cactophageous moth that's up here that's just destroying this population. I mean, look at it. That thing has just been eaten alive inside, just bored through. And then you could see I scraped a little bit away with my knife. It's still green under there, but there's just all this scar tissue. It just looks like something's been eating the epidermis. That is here cactus. Wonder if it's native or introduced or what. Okay, there's our culprit right there. That tiny little fucker, see him? And he's just, what they're doing is just boring into the cactus. You can see a borehole right there. So, you know, I guess it's nice that on one hand it's not humans doing this. Though, of course, if this moth is wiping out entire populations of Copiapoa, it quite likely wasn't here until recently. Which means it probably was introduced by people. Though, don't quote me on that. I don't know for sure. We'll look into it. We'll consult some entomologists, upload a pic of that little fucker, and then see what's going on. Either way, I mean, this one's going to be dead soon. They're boring into the tissue. You know, and remember, cacti are just little batteries, so they only got so much energy reserves left. If you got a little fucker like that going in and, you know, just slowly, hundreds of those things, and there have been dozens at the base of these, you know, eventually they'll withdraw all the energy out of the battery, all those carbohydrates, all that moisture, and eventually kill the plant. The older ones just take a little bit longer to die off than some of the younger ones. You can see there's one, just tons of scar tissue at the base. They're just getting, and then there's at least, you know, 200 other dead ones down the slope. Well, look, there's one alive, and then there's about, I don't know, 150 dead ones. Every Copiapoa you see in this pic, save for maybe a dozen of them, is dead. They're all bored into, all from that little moth. Here's one that's still alive, or at least still has some energy stored up top. But you can see, it's just been, well, that's scar tissue. It's probably not alive for much longer. So that explains why we were seeing so many dead ones in the wash, I guess. I don't know, maybe some will prove to be resilient somehow, but I doubt it. Okay. Okay, moving on up, we still got that Malsherbia. But this time, oh, look at that Calandrinia too, looking so nice. This time we got to look at another genus we get in California. It's a Mentzelia loisaceae. Look at this guy. See those little seed capsules? The Velcro flowers. Blazing stars, they call them. We get Laevicollis in California, as well as, I don't know, 2 or 3 dozen other species. No idea what this one is. It's crazy to see one of these down here. 5,000 miles away from where the most of the rest of the diversity in the genus is. And then there's that tiny Solanum again, that tiny Nightshade. Tiny ass flowers right there. But over here we got one we haven't seen yet. The species of Alstroemeria in the Alstroemeriaceae, which is in the order of lilies. Which, looking at those beautiful goddamn flowers, is not hard to believe. Look at it. Look at those 6 stamens, long style. Styles longer than the stamens. Bomaria is in this family too, which, look at those seed capsules. What a distinct shape, those fruits. Bomaria is in this family too, which is you get a couple of them as vines in Mexico, but you get some real weird variations on a theme down here. Alright, now here's a plant in a family that I mostly know as non-native invasive weeds, especially in horticulture up in North America. But this is a native one to Chile, and it's quite beautiful. And it also seems to be pretty well adapted to these slopes of the fog desert, these mountainous fog deserts that we're in right now. This is a species in the genus Oxalis. Got those almost 3-leaf clover looking shoots. This one's quite succulent. Seems to be a few more Copiopoas that are alive as we go up. The mortality rate has decreased a little bit, perhaps because there's more fog. There's a Eulichnia. Starting to get into the Eulichnia zone. You can just see a ton of them up there. And over here we actually have a Copiopoa blooming. But again, it's still got those boreholes from the moths. See that? There's the flower. Nice armament of spines. You got dozens of stamens. That stigma is not quite open yet. Stigma, of course, being the female receptive part that receives the pollen. Got that succulent Nolana right there. And quite a few more copes. Alright, here we got a new one. This is a species of Edesmia. You can see the little bean flowers down there. But look at the fruits. Look at the legumes. That's the weirdest shit I've ever seen. Pretty strange for a bean. Pretty strange. Jesus Christ. They're like silky and translucent. How do you get like that? How do you get a silky translucent? Silky translucence about you. You ever told somebody that? I guess that'd mean they're phony. You got kind of an aristocratic, phony nature about you. But I would never say that about this Edesmia. Because it's so gorgeous. Holy shit. Oh, fuck, what is the purpose of that? What's the evolutionary purpose, huh? There I go, being so human, thinking there's got to be a purpose for something, huh? Talk about transparency. All right, there we go. I can't get over that fruit. It's got to be easy to, I guess they break up. Like most of the Desmia fruits tend to break up into those segments. See, and then of course just the wind become wind dispersed, and wind blows them around with this shit. Nice way to get your seed around. Okay, so we've ascended about 2,000 feet in elevation. You can see we're starting to get into more Eulichnias up there. We've come quite a ways. Lots of birds going off too. Lots of chirping and tweeting and flapping around with the shit. You could see them. There was just one hanging out in that Eulichnia down there. So you could see there's stuff growing at the base of these Eulichnias. Probably because the fog condenses on them. And it works kind of like a slow trickle, Just kind of like its own de facto drip irrigation. We even got some lichen. It's been too dry for lichen up until this altitude. Got some nice fruits. And lots of weather-beaten scar tissue. You look quite haggard, sir, if you don't mind me saying. No offense. Moving right along. Look, it's a young Copiapoa. It's the first recruitment I've seen. This whole gentle walk up. It's a little bit more alive up here. Mortality's not as bad once you get more into the fog zone. So you get a little bit higher up. 2,000 feet. Cryptantha I have known. Boraginaceae again. Got that scorpioid cyme. This one covered in thick urticating hairs. Another genus we get a lot of in California. I don't even mess with them in California. Too hard to figure out what species you're looking at. That canyon looks ripe, but there's tons of good shit in there. A new one. Look at that. Tetragonia. See those betalain pigments? Isoaceae, ice plant family, Caryophyllales. The betalain pigments again. Remember that? Remember the betalains? I was telling you about the betalains? Huh? You prick. You never listen to me. You never listen. Doesn't seem like many of the flowers are open. But they should be four-petaled. Unless this is not a tetragonia. It might be. It's certainly Isoaceae. Look at those crystalline membranes. Anyway, Isoaceae, of course, you get ice plant. That's an invasive non-native plant in California that slowly takes over the entire coastline wherever it's planted. But there's a couple native genera down here in Chile. Pretty cool family nonetheless. And of course, distantly related to cacti. Oh, there's a beautiful specimen of Copiapoa calderiana. I believe it's subspecies Atacamensis. And then over there, you got a Eulichnia blooming. It's the little white flower way at the top of that stem right there. You know, we're parked somewhere down there. Oh, there we go. Not looking so haggard anymore, are you? Look at that Copiapoa. Copiapoa alstroemeria. You got that little solanum down there. Little tiny solanum. Little tiny nightshade. That polyacrius. I wonder if there's any seed on this guy. Asteraceae. Maybe a little bit. And then over here, seems we got a Eulichnia flowering. If I can get over here without breaking my ass. Fucking metamorphic talus. It's nice. G-N-E-I-S-S. Didn't I just say something about only assholes make geology puns? I'm just kidding. Here you go. There's a flower. Real nice looking over there. Nice background out of fog. Of course, just covered in lichen. Wonder how old this guy is, huh? Alright, so plants of note, you got that Malischerbia, you got that Copiapoa. Looking down in there where the fog condenses, you got some lichen and that armamentous spines. You got some alstroemeria right there, looking beautiful. Must be a geophyte, because they seem to be, the shoots die off on some of them and then they evidently just come back. They exhibit geophytic behavior. Got that member to Asteraceae, probably a polyacrius. And then of course you got that Eulichnia, Kikaensis. You can just see a whole forest of them over there. Okay, there you go. So you got the Eulichnia again, just acting as a catchment device for that fog. It's the Atacama Desert drip irrigation system. And then that fog just condenses on there, drips down, and that's why you're able to see this grass growing right there. Probably a Stipus species. Though again, I'm not a grass aficionado. I might be talking out my ass. Some good looking lichen at the base of this one. Do you like lichens? There we go. I was beginning to get depressed. All the copes down below look like shit. Up here they look pretty good. You know, I see more alive ones than dead ones, which is the first time that's happened during this whole 2,500 foot ascent up this mountain. Look at that. Oh, do you like that? Does it make you feel good? It makes me feel pretty good. I can think of many worse places to be right now. For instance, in the cab of a locomotive that smells of urine and burning plastic. Being part of the race to nowhere. Look at this nice little clump. Oh, look, we got more of that lichen just feeding off the fog drip. There's actually been studies on some of these cacti where I've seen they put like a black screen, like a 4 foot tall by 10 foot long black screen. Looks like from a distance it looks like they're trying to block the sun from it, give it some shade, but it's not. It just acts as a catchment net for the fog, and they put it right over the cactus. And I forget who was doing studies on that, but I read about it somewhere. But again, it's crazy to see all these plants that just their main source of nourishment is fog. I'd probably say, 90%, if not more, of their water just comes from oceanic fog, which again is just caused by those cold ocean currents, that Humboldt current that comes up from the south. What the shit is this? Oh, it's dead. It's dead and it's just got lichen growing on it. Yeah, we could see up here last night, this whole ridge just bathed in fog. If we had been up here, visibility probably would have been like 20 feet. It was thick. Nice calendrinia next to that cope. And here you go, just the whole forest of eulichnia. Fog bath. There's that calendrinia. Look at it. It got yellow flowers. Real odd pattern on those sepals too. On those buds. And that'd be the betalain pigments. What I presume is the tetragonia again. Certainly an isoaceae. There's a nice piece of bird shit. Anyway, again, we see a couple central spines, and then, is that a couple central spines? I think it might just be one. And then the radial spines, you got a couple actual spines, and then the rest have just been kind of modified into trichomes. Into the fuzz. Yeah, some sort of weird monocot geophyte. Probably in a asparagallis. Almost looks like a Themadaceae, but that would be kind of odd. 6 stamens surrounding that central bowling pin shaped ovary. There's a little pollinator too. Just a single dainty leaf. Actually, you got 2 leaves down there. One of them's dead. And this is a weird prostrate mallow with the winged seeds. What the shit? Temperature of San Francisco in the summer right here. Almost kind of chilly. Anyway, here's up close and personal with a eulichnia flower. You can see dozens upon dozens of stamens with a central stigma. Actually, look at how many lobes are on that stigma. Maybe there's some... That is an odd stigma for a cactus. Just looks like a bunch of little tentacles. It's like looking at a sea urchin. And again, look at how fuzzy. Look at how fuzzy that perianth is. That's crazy. That hipanthium. Just so many trichomes. It's unreal. Yeah, look at the fog rolling in. It is. It feels like San Francisco without any buildings and without some of the richest, most boring people in the world. Just a bunch of cactus and relatively low-growing matted plants. How nice. Damn, they're all dead. What gives? Oh yeah, this side of the mountain is just covered in lichen. Probably because it's getting all the fog. Look at that fog just billowing in up this valley from the ocean. All that cool fog. Again, it's chilly. Temperature of San Francisco. You must have like 12 or 15 different kinds of lichen on these rocks. You know, the algae is just rounding up sunlight and creating carbs, while the fungus is just probably, some of these are probably digesting the rock, secreting enzymes and slowly taking that rock apart. Alright, and higher up on the fog-ridden slopes we get a little bit more floristic diversity. There's one of these guys, look at the weird seed capsules. Looks like it might possibly be a Nightshade, possibly an Olana. But this one's really interesting. There's a tetragonia again. These yellow flowers are actually parasitizing this plant. So you got two separate plants here, one's parasitizing the other. This yellow flower is in the Santalacea, the sandalwood family. And it's quite beautiful. It's more beautiful than the plant that it's parasitizing. No offense. I believe this is an amaranth. Holy shit, it's beautiful. Oh, that fog is just coming up. We're right on the ridge. Oh shit, it's billowing over. Doesn't the ocean look nice today? Hey, look at this. Look at a nice Chucaraga. Another one of those Barnardizoid asters, those basal asteraceae. This one, Chucaraga ulacina. God, that wind is really brutal. It's cold. That sun feels nice, though. First time I've had the sun on me in about 3 hours. Look, it's got lichen on it. Another basal aster. Dinosaur version of a sunflower. How about that? That weird monocot again, looking like Themadaceae. Asparagalus for sure. And just another totally strange aster. Another strange member of the sunflower family. Looking like a little daisy bush. Just catching the fog. Little weird leaves too. Oh yeah, none of that stupid moth up here. The ground's actually pretty warm when you lay down on it. You ever just feel like laying down? Just giving up? Only if you're on overtime. Get a copia poas look nice up here. They got a nice farina. Look at that wax. That layer of white cuticle. Looks like you got a senecio down there. Very steep drop off too. And over here it looks like we got a what appears to be a species in the genus Stevia. Did you know that that sweetener is just that sweetener comes from Stevia rhodesiana, which is mostly in Brazil, but there's Christ, I think there's like 50 or 60 species in the genus Stevia at least. Anyway, here's one of them. or what appears to be one of them. Could be an Agriatina too, but I don't know if they got that down here. Sunflower family for sure. You can see the styles coming out. 5 lobe corollas. And looks like you got, I don't know, 4 to 5 flowers per capitula, per pseudanthium, per false flower. Cluster of flowers giving you the impression that it's just one. There's the foliage down there. Everything, I mean, there's lichen on everything. There's so much goddamn fog up there now. Let's go check out that Senecio. It's a little prostrate pingo, little prostrate ephedra. Over here. May not be a Senecio. Sure looks like one though. At least when you look at those capitulas before they open. It smells pretty nice. Got sessile leaves, mostly sessile, almost auriculate leaves. Super woolly, super tomentose. Growing on a volcanic slope in a fog cactus forest. Oh, the fog cleared for a minute. It's the first time I've actually been able to see the ocean from this point. It is chilly as hell. We've got a new monocot up here. It's pretty gorgeous. So not much to look at here, you know, and then you just kind of get down on the ground, you check out a very rare cactus in the genus Areocyce. This genus gets poached a lot, which is unfortunate, because look how fucking, look how gorgeous it is. Incredible. It's got those tubercles with the areoles recessed into the tubercles. This one looks like we're just a little shy, a little early for the flower. It's so easy to miss. Doing a very good job of blending in. This one's actually got a bunch of lichen on it. And the genus Areocyce has quite a few species in it. You can get up close to look at those tubercles. Blend in so well, and they're so tiny. There's a dead one. There's a live one, just clinging on. There's one with a nice flower on it. Barely the size of a golf ball. Gotta be careful where I'm stepping. I don't step on them. Jesus Christ. There's one right there. Look at this guy. Look, the flowers are almost bigger than the cactus itself. It's the size of a marble. God, Areocyce is such a cool genus. Again, those tubercles with the areoles recessed into them a little bit. Kind of like grooved tubercles. I don't see how you could see this and think I want to take it. It's doing its thing here. It's been here for millions of years probably. as a species, and then you want to rip it out. I don't get it. Fucking people, huh? Never understand them. God, it's something else. Such a beautiful little shit. Look at this guy. Probably looking at 100 of them right here. Look at it. They blend in so well. Jesus. Can you imagine trying to see these things without the flower? Impossible. What are some other ones? Tiny. And they do so well here. You know? Perfect camouflage. Nothing's going to gnaw on them. All I got to worry about is some creepy nerd coming to rip him out of habitat so I can put him in his living room in some fucking nice terracotta pot. Slowly kill it over a span of a couple months. Look at this one. We got a real nice flower over here. Check this guy out. They blend in with this rock so well. It's all covered in lichen. Nice little cluster right there. God damn. Ah! Ketchup and mustard flowers. These tiny little golf balls. Ooh, that ground is warm. Feels like we've been in a refrigerator for the past hour. A refrigerator with the fan on, but the ground is actually kind of warm. All hail aerosites. Look at it. What a beaut. Real nice copiapua. Calderiana atacamensis. Jesus. Chilly. Gotta get down, man. Did you like that? Did you have a nice time? Were you bored? I don't really give a shit. That's alright. Did you learn a thing or two? Did you have a nice time? Again, the only reason that this landscape is like this is because of those cold ocean currents from the south. If we were getting warm ocean currents from the north, from the equator, this would all be forested. These slopes would be forested and we wouldn't have fog, we'd have rainfall. Can you even hear me above the wind? Maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, I'm freezing my ass off. I feel like it's San Francisco in the summer. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Wish us luck on our 3,000 foot descent down to the bottom of that little wash over there. Actually, it's more like right over there. We're kind of parked a little bit closer to the beach. But I think we're going to go through that wash. Definitely break your ass terrain. Hopefully it doesn't happen to us. Alright, see you later.